Welcome back. This is Advanced Geometry with Mrs. RRubright. Today's lesson is 11.8, Surface Area and Volumes of Spheres. Surface area and volumes of spheres. Alright, so our first example, we are finding the surface area of this sphere. So, just to give you guys a little bit of a visual in terms of the surface area of a sphere, if I took an orange, and I peeled the rind, I took all of the rind, you know, like the outside casing that you don't eat, and that skin, if you peel it into tiny little pieces, and then cut your orange in half, right through the diameter, right through the center, so that you have two hemispheres. If you drew that hemisphere, that great circle, right, on a piece of paper, how many of those great circles do you think you could fill with the orange rind, with the orange peel? How many? Anybody? You think 2? How many do you think?
3.
3? Anyone else? So, another example real quick. Let me grab a baseball from my desk. So here is a baseball. Look at the leather on a baseball. So, on a baseball, the leather kind of looks like this. Let me draw it for you guys that can't see in class. So, the outside of the baseball looks like this. And then there's another one. Okay, so the two pieces of leather. So it's like this would curl up behind here. So you'd have like the piece like this, and it goes here, and it wraps behind, right? So that makes up the ball. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 circular areas on a baseball that are only slightly smaller than the great circle, right? Well, this extra piece of leather here and here make up for the difference. So, the surface area of a baseball or an orange or any sphere is going to be 4 times the area of the great circle. So 4 pi r squared. The formula for the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. 4 pi r squared. It's the area of 4 great circles. So now that we kind of can visualize that formula, the surface area is 4 pi r squared, 4 times the area of this great circle in here. So that circle has a radius of 8. 8 squared is 64 times pi times 4. 64 times 4 is 256. So this would be 256 pi inches squared, or approximately 804.25, or approximately 804.25 inches squared. Make sense? The surface area of the sphere is 20.25 pi square centimeters. What is the diameter of the sphere? So we want to know what is the diameter of the sphere. So, what do we know? We know that its surface area is this, and we know the surface area formula. The surface area equals 4 pi r squared, right? And in this formula, we only have one unknown, so we're good. If I divide by pi on both sides, the pi's cancel each other out. Divide by 4 on both sides, and we get that r squared equals 5.0625 square root square root, because the opposite of squared is square root, opposite operations, inverse operations. So we're going to get 2.25 equals our radius. If our radius is 2.25, what is our diameter? Our diameter is twice the radius, right? It would be 2 times 2.25, which is 4.5. So our diameter is 4.5 centimeters. All right, so the diameter of a sphere is 40 feet. Find the surface area of the sphere. So I'm going to pause the video and give you guys an opportunity to try this one on your own. So while you guys were practicing that problem, I found an image of a baseball just to show you guys visually that are watching us online instead of live in class what a baseball with the skin unwrapped looks like. So when you unthread it, you have, just like I drew, those 2 strips of leather, and each of these circular ends here are just slightly smaller than their great circle. So the little bit of in-between piece of leather is going to account for that missing diameter of those great circles, okay? So 4 pi r squared is the surface area of a sphere. And I just want to keep reiterating that the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. You will not be given any of the formulas on your EOC, so it is imperative that you do memorize your formulas. So going back to the problem that I just had you guys practice and attempt on your own, the diameter of a sphere is 40 feet. Find the surface area of the sphere. So the surface area of the sphere formula is 4 pi r squared. So we're going to start writing that out. 4 pi r squared. If my diameter is 40, my radius is 20. And 20 squared, 2 times 2 is 4, so 400. 20 squared is 400 times pi times 4. 4 times 4 is 16, so 1600 pi, which is approximately freezing up on me, 5,026.55, and this is in feet, and surface area is always squared because it's 2-dimensional. 5,026.55 feet squared. The surface area of a sphere is 30 pi square meters. Find the radius of the sphere. So I want you guys to try this one as well. This one you're going to have to set it up a little bit differently because we're going to have to put in our surface area. Our surface area equals 4 pi r squared. And this time you're solving for your r. So try this problem, pause the video. All right, so now that you've had time to practice this problem, let's see what we're going to do. If we divide by pi on both sides, the pi will be gone. Divide by pi on both sides and it will just cancel each other out. Divide by 4 on both sides, 30 divided by 4. Well, 30 divided by 2 is 15, and half of that would be 7.5. 30 divided by 4 is 7.5 equals r squared. So the square root and squared cancel each other out. So the square root of 7.5 is going to be our radius. So if this was on a non-calculator portion, they would probably just leave it like that. Otherwise, 7.5 square root. You're going to get that the radius is 2.74. 2.74, and this was in meters. Meters. It is not meters squared because squared is the area. When you're just talking about that measurement, that is a one-dimensional measurement. It is just meters. 2.74 meters. All right, so they're going to have some rounding errors. Does anyone know why they have some rounding errors? They did. They used 3.14 for pi probably, and then ended up getting some rounding errors. I don't know why they would even be dealing with pi, because if pi is on both sides, you should just cancel it out and not even deal in the realm of pi, right? Divide by pi first, and then it's gone. So it really should just be 30 divided by 4, and then the square root, which undeniably is 2.74. So once again, your textbook publishers have made an error. They're very good at those. All right, so in a sport called spearing, a person rolls down a hill inside an inflatable ball surrounded by another ball. The circumference of the outer ball is 12 pi feet. Find the surface area of the outer ball. So the first thing you're thinking is, what is spearing? Without even knowing what spearing is, you can just use the context clues. It says a person rolls down a hill inside an inflatable ball. So all we're talking about is an inflatable sphere surrounded by another ball. The circumference of the outer ball is 12 pi feet. So we know we're dealing with spheres. We know that the circumference is 12 pi, and we want to know the surface area of a ball with a circumference of 12 pi. But if you are really curious what this looks like, here we go. Spearing is when you get inside of a ball and you roll down a hill, and it looks super fun. Looks pretty awesome. I think you might get a little bit nauseous, right? But nonetheless, looks pretty cool. All right, so back to our problem. So on this one, we have a circumference of 12 pi. Do you guys remember what the formula for circumference is? Yes. Circumference equals 2 pi r, or circumference equals pi d, because 2 times the radius is the diameter. So if 12 pi equals pi d, when you divide by pi on both sides, it's gone, your diameter is 12. So if your diameter is 12, your radius is 6. So the surface area, 4 pi r squared. 6 squared is 36. 36 times 4 is 144. So you're going to get 144 pi, which is approximately 452.39. 452.39 feet squared. In example 3, the circumference of the inner ball is 6 pi feet. Find the surface area of the inner ball. So if the circumference is 6 pi, our diameter is 6, making our radius 3. The surface area is 4 pi r squared. 3 squared is 9. 9 times 4 is 36. So we would have 36 pi, which is approximately 113.1. 113.1. And this is in feet squared. Feet squared. The soccer ball has a diameter of 9 inches. Find its volume. Pause the video and attempt this one on your own. So on this one, the diameter is 9, so the radius would be 4.5. Pi r squared, right, is the area of a circle, and there's 4 of them, 4 pi r squared. So 4.5 squared times 4 is going to be 81 pi, which is going to be approximately 254.47. 254.47 inches squared.
Isn't it still pi long?
Oh yeah, wow. So that would be our surface area. Our surface area of this sphere, of this soccer ball, is this, but they actually wanted our volume. Good job. Our volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. 4/3 pi r cubed. So 4/3 times pi, thanks for that catch, times 4.5 cubed. So 4.5 cubed times 4 divided by 3 times pi. 381.7. 381.7. So you can just multiply by 4 and divide by 3, or do 4 divided by 3 first. You could do 4 divided by 3 times 4.5 cubed times pi, whichever way that you want to do it. And our units would obviously be cubed because volume is 3-dimensional. It is cubed. All right, so